How's it going, guys? Let's ask the question. How much better can a can of Rattle can make something truly look? Now, if you've been around cars at all, and I mean anything from like custom cars to that race truck back there, you know that Rattle can is a must. All right, it might not be a must, but it certainly has become a favorite of everyone, right? I mean, from the high school student rattle canning parts in their garage to make their car unique and one of a kind, to, you know, the guys out racing on the weekend who are rattle canning stuff on their trucks. Rattle cans have become an absolute must-have, right? And even then, we still have the question: does rattle can make it cheap? Can you do a good job with rattle can? Does it make a part look better? Now, I think the first thing that you kind of have to ask yourself is, how bad does the part look in the first place? Yes, of course, you can strip it down to bare metal and restore it and use high-class paints and so on and so forth. You absolutely could do that. But is it worth it? That takes a ton of time. Is it worth it? What if I told you that that engine sitting right there, that beautiful-looking race engine in my dirt truck, started as a rusty pile of 1980s parts that looked like they had no future? But now look at it. Look how good some rattle can really made it look. Now let's take a look at this bumper. This bumper is beaten, abused. It has probably hit into everything from other trucks to the wall. It's rough, right? But I think we can all agree that a little bit of color, a little bit of consistency, it really makes it look that much better. Even with the big crack in the bumper and the big dents up top and just the flakiness of it, it still looks better with a little bit of consistency in the color. So what I want to do next is I want to take this here beat up old, you know, used and abused jack stand. I want to sand it down a little bit, throw some color on it, and make it look a little bit better. Now, I do have two of these, which means we're going to be able to set them next to each other at the end and see the difference or improvement or whatever you want to say. But here's the big thing, okay? With our race truck, both with this one and the stage rally truck we're building in the back, we want to keep our tools or everything that needs pulled away from the truck a consistent color. And for us, we chose yellow. Okay, so that color right there is the color of everything that needs to get pulled away from a truck before it takes off from the line. Now, why is this important? Let's just take our Harbor Freight tool tray as an example. Now, I'm going to take this stuff out of here so that way you would see what it looked like. Right like this, okay? So if I come up to this truck, you know, it comes in after the race, whatever, I'm getting ready for the next laps. I'm going to take this tool tray and I'm going to slap it right there. It's magnetic, it's going to stay. Now I can jack this side up, take these lug nuts off. The lug nuts can go in there. Any part that comes off this corner of the truck can go in there. Now I'm going to throw one of these on any corner that's getting worked on. You know, if we're back here working on something in the rear, then there needs to be a tray back here in the rear. And anything that comes off this corner is going to go directly in that tray. Okay, this is what I do when we're, you know, for dirt track, stage rally, whatever. And it's especially important when you're not on a solid surface. Okay, look, I'm on grass, guys. So we're going to throw one of these on there. But here's the thing. Throw this on there and you forget about it. Or better yet, you throw it on the back and you forget about it. And you're over here and you're like, oh crap, I'm not ready. And you're getting stuff ready and you come running over out of the race trailer, come running out, you're going to jump in your truck. It's not the most noticed thing in the world, okay? So by making everything the same color, by making it all yellow and not painting anything on the truck yellow, we know that anything yellow needs to get pulled away from the truck before we leave the pit area, right? Seems simple. That doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter even if there's tools inside the truck. You'll be able to look at them and say, yellow doesn't belong here, get it out of here. So that's the plan. I'm going to paint stuff yellow. So that's the idea here. We're going to paint one of these, leave the other one so we can look at the difference next to each other. I think I'm going to use yellow and I'm going to use some silver. So I think silver makes things look very clean and will give us a nice, good, you know, a good looking look. Good looking look. Looky look. A good looky look. A looky look. Okay. Now, of course, there always is the idea is, well, isn't rattle can cheap? Yes. Yes, it is. But here's the thing. Rattle can is just thinned out paint. Okay, thinner than what you would normally spray through a spray gun, but it's thinned paint. anyone can make rattle can. You can go to like House of Color, you know, the high-end automotive company, and get their paints in rattle can. The paint in the rattle can isn't necessarily always cheap. Now, Rust-Oleum is a cheap company. Now, what we know about Rust-Oleum is the paint is designed to adhere and bind and etch its way into rust and other things to help reduce rusting. Okay, you know, you buy a can of their paint, you buy a gallon of it, it's still cheap paint, but that's the design of it. It doesn't have much UV protectant, okay, and it doesn't have much you know, like weather resistance and things like that. So if you want to add those things, like any other color or like any other paint, like a, you know, a two-step, you know, color and clear paint, add a UV protectant clear. You know, that's kind of the obvious point here, guys. Regular paint, you spray from the shelf, will fade if you don't have a UV protectant clear. So add that if you want, okay? Hold on. In some cases, like our slammed Chrysler 300 here, these wheels are rattle canned, and so is the trim bezel on the intake and some other pieces, but the wheels themselves are actually rattle canned. As you can see up here, it's all kind of faded together, which is what I want. And as you see back here, I didn't have the center cap on for a while, so the center cap's a little darker right now, a little redder tint, okay? The big thing here, as I know they're going to fade, I want them to fade. I want it to be a lighter color of the color that it is right now. So I want it to fade, and I didn't clear it. Clearing it can take away from some of your pearls, some of your metallics, but that's not the point, okay? I'm going to go paint one of those, and we're going to see how well it comes out. Look at that freaking canopy, guys. Storm rolled through and just absolutely destroyed my canopy. Terrible. Okay, this was all covered with tables underneath it and stuff, and you know, when the canopy came down, it ruined a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff got thrown on the ground, so terrible. First thing I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to sand everything down. This sandpaper don't even fit on this sander, whatever. It's what's this, 240? Okay, fine, whatever. Grab yourself some 220, some 300, whatever, guys. Don't overthink it, okay? I don't need this to be a perfect product. It's gonna get beat up because that's just what happens with jack stands. So I don't need it to be perfect, but I'm gonna sand off some of that flakiness, break into that surface, and then we're gonna spray some color. I think I'm gonna do the bodies in yellow, and I'm gonna do these centerpieces in silver. And again, that's just so there's a little bit of contracting colors, but it still looks good. Soon we're going to be doing that jack, but let's wait on that because I think I want to rebuild that jack, or at least do some maintenance first, maybe. I don't know. This first. Alright guys, so I busted this one down with the sander quick. I mean, I'm talking like a couple minutes of sanding here. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Jack stands get used, abused, beat up, thrown around, and that's kind of part of their life, okay? It doesn't sound great, but that's part of it. So I'm not going to go too anal on this. Now originally I was going to spray the silver first. I'm trying to figure out if that's still what I want to do. You have to think about how easy it is to tape things off. The inside does not simply come out. There's a metal tab that gets bent over, and it doesn't simply disconnect. So I'm going to go try to find me something to get down in there. My pry bar is a little too big. I'm going to get those separated. Then I can spray my yellow on one hand, and then over there spray my silver and be done with it. So let me go find something to pry with. So the first rule of rattle can, you overshake it. When you think you're done shaking, keep shaking. Then shake it a little longer. And then maybe a little more after that too. Now when we spray this, don't expect to get full coverage your first pass. Don't expect to get full coverage your second pass. Spray it thin, guys. What I already say about rattle cans, it's thinned out paint, okay? Very thinned out. So take your time, mist everything over a couple times, and then it'll cover. Don't worry, it'll come around. That's the plan, just mist it. Guys, see what I mean? Just mist it. I mean, you still see red everywhere, and over here you still see the mismatched color. It ain't silver yet. Just mist it. Take your time. Now when this becomes what they call tacky, or that paint doesn't necessarily smear, you can spray it again. I just give it a little extra time. Don't rush this process. Walk away, go do something else, come back later and keep spraying a little bit at a time. So as you can see, I waited a while before I put it together. It's dark. Alright, so, but I mean, can we just be honest? I think the one on the right looks way better than the one on the left. Even if you wanted to keep that red, if you just pulled out the insert and to paint it so it doesn't rust, I think already is a winner, right? Now I went through and spackled this with some shinier gold, whatever you want to call it, some sparkly boy, some metallic spray paint. I do that for two reasons. First off, it looks nice in the sunlight, gives it a little sparkle, makes it look cleaner than what it is. But the second reason is that it doesn't give it a perfect surface to not look perfect. If that makes sense. See the spackling in there? It's no longer a perfect surface, so it's not going to look perfect, and the expectation is that it won't be perfect. And I think imperfection creates perfection. And that's what I'll tell you, right? But as you can see, I think the one on the right is very visibly an improvement, and they're the exact same thing, guys. They're both 3 tons. They're both, I mean, they're the exact same thing. So I believe, in my opinion, that a little rattle can goes a long way. A little rattle can can make or break a project. I think when done right, rattle can's the answer to everything. Again, there's your before and after. You've seen the before, and here is the after, and I think that looks a lot better. If we pop up this hood, that is a rattle can engine. And guess what? I rattle canned the cage around the engine to make it look a little better. And see in here where I missed some spots. It did not look pretty before I got to it, okay? The point of rattle canning and cleaning up parts is not to make the part look brand new. If you want to go through and you want to restore and go through and wire wheel every nook, every cranny, and make it look like it was originally, and tape off a sticker or have new stickers made, go for it. The big thing here is rattle can going to make your project look better? And I think it will. I'm all about it, guys. Those are rattle can. That's rattle can. I mean, the engine's rattle can. Those wheels over here, those wheels are rattle canned. That badge is rattle canned. This mirror is rattle canned. As a matter of fact, we're going to go back here to the land of the unknown to see all of the rattle can projects. This military bike with the Fotina worn out looking paint job and the the big eagle down the side. Ooh, that needs cleaned. Got that big eagle, EGA, Eagle Globe and Anchor down the side. The entire bike is rattle canned. That entire Miata, including the engine bay, the interior, and the outside of the car, is rattle can. I'll post pictures of that car before I took it apart. It's getting a rotary. Rotary there, rotary there. It's getting a rotary. And coming over here to the Stage Rally Ranger project, rattle can. Interior is getting rattle can. The entire engine bay is a rattle can. But wait, there's more. This frame cleanup, at least where I've started it, is rattle can. Woo! I gotta finish that, don't I? But you can see up here where it's actually, it's dirty, but we scrub it down. It's all freshly ground down and rattle canned. You can see how bad it was before I got into it. Some of the details on this bike are rattle canned. Might have to pull her bike out tomorrow. We got an event in the morning. Well, the afternoon. So I want you to pull that bike out. That transmission's also rattle canned. I didn't say that. You get the point, guys. The point is when done right, rattle can stuff, guys. It's just can. It's just paint in a very easy to use, easy to buy, small amounts source that sprays itself so you don't have to pull out a paint gun. I have a paint gun and a full stand-up compressor, and I still don't pull out a paint gun. It's so convenient to just rattle can the stuff. Just rattle can it, okay? Don't be afraid of rattle can. Don't be afraid of making unique, one-of-a-kind custom stuff. Don't be afraid of doing anything. And of course, I have to add, the option to buy things like metallics and pearls and tints in a small rattle can option is awesome. That's sick, guys. I've done galaxy paintings. I have done, spray through laces and all sorts of lowrider effects with rattle cans instead of pulling out my airbrush. As a matter of fact, back here, let me get this turned around. We'll lay it down for now. This is a galaxy painted water cooler with planets and everything. That's terrible. Jesus criminy. This is the early stages of me learning how to galaxy paint with rattle cans. This is like the early on, like back before I really had it down. Still don't look bad. I got some textures up in this planet here. Those were all intentional. I remember really trying hard for those textures. Come on, stand back up. Really, it probably needs pulled out and repainted so we can use it for the race trailer. Free water for people, right? That's one way to get people around your race trailer. So don't be afraid to build cool things, guys. Build one-off things. They don't have to be expensive, okay? I got into cars in like the early thousands, and at the time it was a lot of rattle can, paint your own stuff, do your own thing, build your own parts, buy HDPE and build your own body kits and learn to fiberglass and fiberglass your own stuff. It was very much do it yourself, have fun with it, and recently everything's become internet bought. You can buy everything off the internet, so people stopped making their own stuff. 3D printers have really opened a lot of doors to building your own cool things. And with some knowledge and a little bit of effort, you can build cool things. That's why we built that Chrysler. If you haven't looked at our Chrysler 300C videos, check those out, because that is a super budget build that we built from the hardware store to showcase the old thousand styling of building a car yourself and having fun with it. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. That is the funnest car that I've ever owned, because it's what I've put the least amount of money into. And if I like rip a side skirt off going on the road, I'm like, great, let me go back to Lowe's and buy another $7 rain gutter and another stock side skirt from whatever junkyard, and there's 1,001 of them around. Have fun with it. So get out there and build cool things. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Other people don't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. I don't care if people don't like my 300C. A lot of people don't like it. It just is what it is. I go to car shows and I enjoy people not liking it. It's funny because I'm loving it. Having a great time. So get out there, have fun, and most importantly, have a good day.